Maher thinks WNBA rookie and #1 draft pick Caitlin Clark is being targeted by other players because she's not a lesbian and she's one.
Get ready, because everything you thought you knew about Caitlin Clark heading overseas is about to get turned on its head. Bill Maher, yes, that Bill Maher just dropped a shocking revelation, and let me tell you, it's even wilder than anyone could have imagined. So, was her exit from the WNBA really just about chasing a paycheck, or is there a much deeper story hiding beneath the surface?
The league is very lesbian, and she's not. And there's race. There's a lot of...
Seriously, everyone's talking about what Maher just revealed, and you won't believe the real reason Caitlin Clark put pen to paper on that overseas deal. But before we get into it, do me a quick favor. Smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the biggest twists, shocks, and breaking stories in the sports world. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one.
They defend each other on their same team. I mean, men will fight from two teams. But when somebody checks you on who's on your team, you defend that.
When Bill Maher dropped his take on Caitlin Clark's move to Europe, he didn't hold back, not even for a second. Most people assumed Clark was simply chasing a bigger paycheck or maybe exploring fresh opportunities overseas. But Maher, he made it crystal clear this was about something much deeper. According to him, it wasn't just about money, it was about escaping an environment where she felt completely, undeniably out of place.
I'll just say, it's not always racism when a white person succeeds.
Alright, let's break down exactly what Bill Maher revealed, because it's explosive. He didn't hold anything back, even going so far as to say, it's not always racism when black players hip check her, using that line to expose the bigger issues at play. From the very start, Caitlin Clark's WNBA journey wasn't smooth. According to Maher, she never fit the league's preferred storyline, and this wasn't about her talent. Her skill has always spoken for itself. The problem, he argued, was that Clark didn't align with the image the league wanted to promote. Instead of being embraced as a generational star, she was treated like an outsider. Maher called out the WNBA's hypocrisy directly. This is a league that constantly prides itself on progress and inclusivity, yet one of its brightest young stars was being pushed aside simply because she didn't fit neatly into their social boxes. That's not a basketball issue, it's an identity issue. And the evidence? Maher pointed straight at the way players targeted Clark. From little digs in the media to overly aggressive on-court hits, it was clear many wanted her to feel unwelcome. Clark herself even admitted on social media that the physical play against her was relentless, saying she felt like defenders were being allowed to get away with things refs wouldn't tolerate against anyone else. For Maher, this wasn't a one-off situation. He painted it as part of a larger pattern, where the league seemed more invested in pushing a political narrative than celebrating raw basketball greatness. For Clark, that overseas deal wasn't just about a paycheck, it was an escape route, a way to leave behind the constant hostility and just focus on doing what she does best, playing basketball. No politics, no hidden agendas, just hoops. But here's the real kicker. Maher's claims pull the curtain back on deeper problems the WNBA has been trying to gloss over. Yes, the league has grown. Yes, it's made strides. But if a once-in-a-generation player like Caitlin Clark feels forced out, that's a massive red flag. The WNBA is supposed to be the ultimate stage, yet if it keeps alienating stars, it's walking itself into a dangerous future. And it doesn't stop there. Maher's words have already sparked a wave of reaction. Players are whispering about following Clark to Europe, not just for money, but to get away from what they describe as a toxic culture. Fans are left asking, what's really going on behind closed doors? Is this league truly about elevating women's basketball, or has it lost its way by putting narrative ahead of the game? The WNBA can't dodge these questions forever. If the league wants to survive, it has to face them head on. For now, Caitlin Clark has packed her bags and found a new home in Europe, somewhere she can finally just play basketball without all the drama and politics hanging over her. But Bill Maher's revelations cracked open a Pandora's box that isn't closing anytime soon. His point was blunt: the WNBA's current path isn't working, and the cracks in its foundation are getting harder to ignore. The league loves to market itself as progressive and inclusive, but Maher argued that those very ideals might actually be pushing some of its biggest stars away. Think about it, Clark, a rookie who shattered records and single-handedly pulled in a wave of new fans, felt so alienated that she walked. That speaks volumes. Instead of celebrating her talent and the spotlight she brought to women's basketball, the league seemed more concerned with protecting its preferred narratives. According to Maher, the goal wasn't to let Clark shine, it was to make sure she didn't overshadow the storylines they wanted front and center. The WNBA has leaned heavily into its identity as a social justice league, championing LGBTQ representation and political causes. But Maher's take is that somewhere along the way, the game itself got pushed to the background. For players like Clark, that meant feeling out of place in the very league that should have been elevating her, and the consequences could be massive. Pro sports need their stars to draw crowds, sell merchandise, and fuel excitement. Clark was that star. Her move overseas signals something bigger. If the league doesn't fix these cultural problems quickly, more players might follow her lead. That's not just a setback, that's an existential threat. Maher even hinted this could spark a wider exodus, with other players already voicing frustrations about the league's environment. And yes, Europe pays better, but it's not just about the paycheck. Overseas, players know the focus is on basketball, pure and simple. That's what Clark wanted, to escape the politics and the feeling of being sidelined despite her superstar status. If more players start heading to Europe, the WNBA could find itself scrambling to keep its identity intact. Losing Caitlin Clark isn't just losing points on the court, it's losing the face of the league, the player who brought in record-breaking attention and viewership. Now that spotlight has shifted across the ocean, and the WNBA has a massive hole to fill. And Maher's bombshell raises the biggest question of all. Has the league's obsession with politics come at the cost of the sport itself? If players feel like they're judged more on where they stand socially than how they perform on the court, that's not inclusivity, that's a toxic culture, and it could end up costing the WNBA the very stars it needs most. For the WNBA, this is a tricky crossroads. The league has built its identity around progressive values and being a leader in social justice. But here's the problem: if those very ideals start driving players like Caitlin Clark away, it could end up backfiring in a big way. To stay competitive, the WNBA has to figure out how to embrace all of its stars, no matter their background or personal beliefs. Bill Maher's comments didn't just spark conversation about Clark, they've opened the door to a much larger debate about politics in sports, and how leagues can balance growing the game while still pushing their social agendas. For Caitlin, Europe is about stripping away the noise. It's basketball, plain and simple. No politics, no distractions, just the game she loves. But for the WNBA, her exit should be a massive warning sign. If a rookie who brought in record-breaking attention feels more at home overseas, that's a signal the league can't afford to ignore. And make no mistake, Europe is no step down. Women's basketball overseas is fiercely competitive, the paychecks are often bigger, and Clark now has the chance to shine on a global stage. For her, it's a fresh start and a chance to dominate without the outside pressures that came with the WNBA spotlight. The league, on the other hand, is left with a huge loss, but also an opportunity. If the WNBA uses this as a moment to reevaluate how it treats players and to put basketball back at the center of everything, it could come out stronger. But if it refuses to change, it risks losing more talent and damaging its standing as a premier league for women's basketball. Bill Maher's blunt take ripped the cover off an issue few people were openly discussing. His words have forced fans and insiders alike to ask some tough questions about the league's future and the future of the sport itself. So what do you think? Was Maher right about why Caitlin Clark left for Europe? And what does this mean for the WNBA moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this breakdown eye-opening, don't forget to smash that like button. At the end of the day, Caitlin Clark's move is a powerful reminder that everything comes back to the game itself. If the WNBA wants to thrive, it has to put basketball, not politics, back at the heart of its mission. Make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next big story in sports. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.